Hello, everybody. This is Sangeeta, and I'm doing this presentation with Megan. Like today, we are going to connect workshop on note-taking skills, which is one of the best effective method for every student to cope up with their subjects and just keeping track along with the course things. Like in this workshop today, we'll be leading with like the few topics, which is in the next slide. Um,
I will switch to those just so we can see.
Yeah. So like we'll get to know about like what's the importance of taking notes and like few tips which can make your notes more effective and all. And we just kind of figure it out like few best methods like for effective note taking. And like in the final we just give you a like brief thing of this workshop, like what key points you can take away from this workshop. Moving to the next, Megan will continue.
Yes, okay, so the importance of taking notes. We all have to take notes. College makes things a little more complicated, especially online. There's so much information, you want to remember all of it, but you can't memorize all of it in your head all right away. So one of the most important things about taking notes is it emphasizes and organizes information. Having your stuff written down so you can go back to it, having it written down so it's easier just to see and review when you're reviewing your notes before a test is really helpful and can be way more effective than just referring to the textbook and rereading like 70 pages worth of information. It also improves your listening skills. So if you're taking notes during a lecture where your teacher is presenting something, it helps that coordination between hearing something and writing it down and making sure you're not just writing every single word you hear down, but only the important information. Along with that, it creates a condensed record for study. So like I was saying, there's something about taking notes that's way better than just referring to all the material that you have because it's condensed, it's short, you have all the important notes already, you've cut out all the fluff. It engages your mind and keeps you alert. So instead of putting on your lecture and just falling asleep or going back to bed or sitting on your phone, you're actually absorbing the material and it's going to help you in the long run. And then it helps minimize your distractions. So if you're focused on taking notes, you're going to focus on writing down the important information, maybe writing down some questions to ask your professor, things like that, instead of worrying about your text messages or whatever your next lecture is. So we're going to move on to taking notes more effectively. What are some tips? This is a combination of stuff that I've heard from colleagues, friends, my own personal experience, and then some research. One of the most important things to do when you're taking notes is to find a quiet space and eliminate those distractions. It's really easy to want to sit in your bed and take notes or sit with your friends. And for some people that works for them, but especially when things are online, it's important to sit down, have a space that is an actual workspace, and then put your phone away and actually focus on your work. You'll get things done faster and you'll understand it better. Don't write every word down. Use summaries and short bullet points. It's really hard, especially when you have a teacher who goes fast. You feel like every single thing is important. Especially if you're in a live lecture, you just can't write every single word down. So maybe listening for a couple of minutes and writing some short bullet points on what they were saying. Definitions, of course, write those down. I would say use summaries more for like textbook reading. So instead of reading a paragraph and writing down like half the paragraph, just summarize it in one line. unless there's like specific information that you need to bullet point. Using drawings and color. So depending on what your class is, using drawings might be helpful if you have something you need to visualize. It could even be something like a Venn diagram or a chart, just to help break things up from just words after words after words. And using color has been shown to help us when taking notes because our brain processes things with color as important. And it helps break it up from just looking like a block of text. One of the most important things you can do in college is to read the class material before your lecture. Whatever is assigned for that week, if you go into your lecture knowing what the topic is, even if you just sort of skim the textbook before you go to class, it's going to help everything make a lot more sense. You're going to be prepared for what your teacher's going to talk about. And so you will spend less time trying to understand the basics and more time like with that deep comprehension. When taking notes, it's important to take breaks. I know it's really easy to just think, oh, I'm going to work for the next 3 hours and then I'm going to be done. But by the time the second or third hour comes around, you're already so exhausted. Your mind needs to take a short break. And it's important to get up too and just walk around. So things that you can do, make sure every, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes or so, you get up, walk around. Maybe if you want to pick up your phone and look at stuff, if you want to go get a snack, get some water, go to the bathroom, stuff like that, just to break things up and give your mind a break so you aren't constantly trying to process things. If you're having a hard time focusing, sometimes using reward markers is a really good tip. Maybe it's your favorite piece of chocolate. You're going to have a piece after you get through the first page of your essay that you need to write, or after I've gotten through these next 10 pages of the textbook, I can go play this game with a friend. Just stuff like that in case you really have lost your motivation and it can be hard. So giving yourself rewards, even if it seems silly, might motivate you to keep going. And the most important thing about taking notes is to keep a positive attitude. If you're super drained and you don't want to study and you don't want to take notes, it's going to be harder to process information and your notes aren't going to be as effective. You're not going to write down as much and you won't quite understand the material. So just making sure that you're refreshed and you feel at least a little less stressed than you probably do feel, just to make sure that you can process things. It's important that if you feel like you can't take notes at that exact moment, maybe work on something else and save those notes for later. And with that, I will pass it on to Sangeeta.
So coming to this slide, so like the slide says, it's best method for effective note taking, but really we cannot say that there is like only one best method to take the notes, because it works for different people in different ways, and most of them already will you all follow a way to take notes. It's just that we kind of put together how it effective it can be, like if you follow like a few methods which will be mentioned now. Like let's say considering the outline notes, this outline notes exactly defines where you need to where like while listening to the lecture you can just make a notes by bullet points, and with the topics and subtopics under it. You can make it in a structure way by starting to the left end of the page and making the subtopics just to the next to the topic, like moving to the middle of it. So this gives you a organized and structured way of topics which are discussed in the class. This results out it in a best way to refer the notes after the class. So while coming to the next one, cornell notes. So in this note structure, like where you will divide the section like into four ways. Like the majority of the in that four sections, majority of the section could be the one where you need to take the notes when lecture explains about something. And exactly beside that, the majority of that section, you can just keep your you can write down your own thoughts, like questions, or you want to make any you want to, if you want to emphasize on any specific point the lecture has the professor has discussed with you in the class. And of course, like dividing that page into the other two halves is like the main one, which explains the title of that particular topic. And like bottom of the section, like you can make it as like a summary or a brief complete uh, uh, discussion of the topic on that day. You can write on your own words to summarize like what you have understood from that class. Like this gives like a clear and like a clear and a structured way of the topic, and like understanding of your way on that particular day of the topic, which professor has given you. So coming to the mind mapping or thought bubble, this the word says like it explains you a lot. Like when there is some definition, or when he explains you something, you can just put up in a bubble and just highlight it. Or either with mapping can help you to branch out and just connecting the topics in a sequence way, which helps you to figure it out easily, like one after the other, which can be possible with this mapping method. And the next, coming to the writing on slides. So this is exactly same as outline notes, but this can be possible when professor has given you the lecture notes online. So this helps you when you write your understanding over the slides. This helps you to review both the lecture notes and your notes simultaneously. Then coming to the journaling of free flow, this is all about like let's say you have listened to a lecture, and at the end of the lecture, just sit for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, give some time for yourself, and just put on your thoughts over the paper, like whatever you have understood from the lecture. This helps you give more concentration, and helps you to get back to the topic what he has already discussed with you. And you'll get to know what you have missed and what you have to learn more after you look at that structure or whatever you have written in that paper. So these are like few methods which can help you to take in like effective notes, and you can go back and refer them easily. Moving on to the next slide. So here we'll summarize in a way like what you have learned throughout this workshop. Like exactly. So main thing about the effective note taking is just to make sure like your listening skills are also like effective, and there is no distractions during the lecture. Like all these are important for like complete academic success throughout your journey. And like I cannot say that this method is effective, like it can be effective for every professor you go through. It depends upon how he explains to you. So you better choose one effective method, like or any note taking style which best for you for that particular course or any subject. Then how I explained before, the outline method, this helps you more to keep notes together and organized way. And this can also be done either with a material, you can write notes beside it, or as I explained in the slides, you can write the comments on that particular slides when you go through a lecture. whereas the concept map notes is nothing but like mapping method, which shows the relationship among the ideas you have put on that page while you're listening to the lecture. This helps you to look back to the notes and refer it easily, because there is like there you can see so many relationships between one topic and the next points you have written down in that page. Well, this Cornell method, with my personal experience, I can say this is like most worked method for me, because it just gives me a clear idea when I just put all the main content in one part of the section of the page, and like summary which explains how much I understood from that topic. And this helps you like analyze and give a clarity on what you have learned, and like what more you have to learn with the questions you have written down in that page. So, and so in this way, when you keep your notes in an organized way, it makes easy for you to study, and there will be no confusion, and you don't have to refer back to all the material what the professor has given in time when during the exams time, and you when you just want to refer it on go or something like that. These are like uses of taking notes in an effective manner, and it also helps you further in future too when you attend some conferences or anything. Like it just gives you a brief note down way where you can take in notes in this organized way. So this is completion of the workshop of note taking skills.
And with that, we thank you for watching and hope we will see you in the upcoming weeks for our other presentations on Monday. Thank you.